So tell me, in the past 1 week, what are the current issues which are in the news? Trump India sorry చెప్పాడు. ఓకే, నెక్స్ట్. ట్రంప్ ఇండియా సారీ చెప్పడం అంటే టెక్నికల్ గా ఏమన్నా మోడీ ఇస్ మై ఫ్రెండ్ బట్ హీ ఈస్ నాట్ గోయింగ్ బ్యాక్. ప్రాబ్లమ్ ఇస్ we don't want any sorry or we don't want imposition of tariffs. We want to take back those tariffs.
China is out of CPEC project.
China is out of
investment share CPEC project.
China Pakistan economic corridor. See, in the last class we discussed why in international relations classes we discussed why CPEC is a dead project, because at the end of the day when we are talking about, see, we'll discuss that China Pakistan economic corridor. See, when we are talking about China Pakistan economic corridor. See, China Pakistan economic corridor, one of the major problem with China Pakistan economic corridor is through, or for that matter, first thing you have to understand that China Pakistan economic corridor is one of the corridors of Belt Road Initiative. Under Belt Road Initiative, China Pakistan economic corridor is one of the corridor. And under Belt Road Initiative, or the projects under Belt Road Initiative, what China is trying to do is China is trying to promote debt trap diplomacy or check book diplomacy. The basic argument here is China through Belt Road Initiative under the pretext of promoting connectivity, under the pretext of developing projects, under the pretext of investment, under the pretext of constructing ports, laying pipelines. What we have seen is China under proclaiming development as an agenda, and China is trying to promote its soft power attitude. Soft power attitude is you need funds, you need development, we are going to do that. Let us take the responsibility of development, let us develop your projects. But what we have seen is, although the intention of China is to promote although other countries want investment because China have so much of money, okay, but other countries are not having that much money. So that is the reason why China is luring countries in the name of investment. But the intention of China is to make them fall on the trap for China's debt. And under the pretext of development, they are giving checkbooks, and these countries disguising, these countries are thinking that these are soft loans, but the soft loans are not being able to be, the loan targets are not able to be met, or the payment targets are not able to met by these countries. That is the reason why these countries are falling into the trap of China. So that is the reason why we have to be very careful, countries have to be careful. Okay, so, and I also said that this Belt Road Initiative, this is very much important, debt trap diplomacy and checkbook diplomacy. Although in the name of development, China is giving soft loans, and by giving soft loans, what happened is countries are falling into the trap of China. And I also said that the projects which has been forwarded under Belt Road Initiative, One Belt One Road Initiative, you have to understand that every time, remember, development have to emphasize on social infrastructure. Development has to promote social infrastructure. Development is not constructing buildings. Development is not constructing roads. If you are constructing high-rise buildings, and if at all you are constructing roads, 4-lane road, What is the point of constructing 4-lane lanes when there is no traffic? Okay, so what we have seen is China, through Belt Road Initiative, it is trying to promote connectivity, it is trying to develop infrastructure, but this infrastructure is not able to be used by the humans. So these infrastructural projects, at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is the investments of China through Belt Road Initiative is not promoting social infrastructure. And if at all a development project is not promoting social infrastructure, if human resource are not being benefited with any investment, that investment will not be considered feasible, or that investment will not be considered effective. Human resource development should happen. If a country is growing at a 2-digit economy, if a country is growing at if a country is the fastest growing economy, if a country is the first largest economy, we are not concerned about that. India, okay, India is growing at a good space. Okay, India's GDP at purchasing power parity is very good. Okay, but the point here is, until and unless the social infrastructure, whether maternal mortality rate, infant mortality rate, demographic dividend, are we able to, is the infrastructure, is the investment in India, are we able to nurture the demographic dividend? Those will be acting as a foundational pillars. We have seen that China Pakistan economic corridor is not promoting social infrastructure. The what you say, the working of China Pakistan economic corridor uh, is also not effective, because I discussed, no, 4 to 5 months China Pakistan economic corridor, the line, okay, Kunjarao Pass. Okay, we discussed about Kunjarao Pass. I said that when the the connectivity through Kunjarao, this China Pakistan economic corridor passes through this Kunjarao Pass, and this Kunjarao Pass is blocked for nearly for 4 to 5 months. So this corridor, China Pakistan economic corridor, has become a seasonal corridor. Means it is not all weather road. It is not all weather road. It is, you cannot have access all the time. The pipelines, the oil pipelines would get frozen during that period, cold period. And it is also passing, China Pakistan economic corridor is also passing through an region which is very much unstable in Pakistan, that is in Balochistan. So these are the reasons why you see this China Pakistan economic corridor was never uh, what you say, was never seen as successful project. Only thing is, under the name of economy, China is trying to construct this corridor through increase their military footprint around India. Okay, that is the reason why Gwadar, although drinking water facility is not there, okay, so the transit at Gwadar is not that good. Okay, still we see China is pursuing it because it wanted to be used, Gwadar, more than an economic or trade hub. China want to use Gwadar port as a military asset by encircling India. Okay, so that we discussed in our international relations classes also, China Pakistan economic corridor. As this is current affairs classes, some people might be attending only current affairs classes. Let this can be used as a revision. Okay, so let us discuss Shanghai Cooperation Organization. You know, Narendra Modi recently visited China. Okay, to attend Shanghai Cooperation Organization. In the last class, we ended our class. We discussed about Narendra Modi's visit to Japan. So today we will be discussing about Shanghai Cooperation Organization. We will also discuss about India and China relations. Okay, in our international classes also uh, we finished India Pakistan. Now we have to discuss about next India China. So this class will act as a base also. Okay, although we will not discuss in detail how IR classes will be dealt. Tomorrow we will discuss about different policies and everything. But briefly we will discuss about India China relations also. Why in news? So Narendra Modi visited China. Okay, to attend Shanghai Cooperation Organization, Tianjin place. Okay, what is Shanghai Cooperation Organization? See, you have to know that Chinese leaders are like starting from Mao Zedong. Okay, these leaders, these presidents of China always wanted to make China very powerful, and they also wanted to make China as an one second. Okay, they they always emphasized to make China powerful by promoting its imperialistic attitude. Today we'll discuss about that also. So the focus of China's leaders, the focus of Chinese was always like uh, you have to capture the territories of neighboring countries. You have to promote, like China is suffering with a problem called Middle Kingdom syndrome. I discussed this concept, okay, in our international relations classes. Middle Kingdom syndrome. What is Middle Kingdom syndrome is, at one point of time China civilization was spread many regions, and China had this sphere of influence all over the world. So China will perceive this, saying that at one point of time China was having good access all over the world. So now we want to bring that glory back to China. So that is the reason why China will follow a policies called salami slicing policy. Okay, so there are different policies which has been followed. We'll discuss that. Okay, and also Mao Zedong followed the policy called five finger policy. So Mao Zedong think that the right hand of China, okay, when you're talking about right hand of China, the palm of China is Tibet. Okay, Tibet. Okay, then you have Ladakh, Nepal, Bhutan, Sikkim, and Arunachal Pradesh. These are the five fingers of right hand of Japan. So by China, sorry, what did I say? Japan, sorry. Right hand of China. Okay, so I'm suffering with bit cold. That is the reason why uh, I'm feeling little uncomfortable. Okay, anyways, uh, so this is the right hand. Okay, and the right palm, uh, Tibet, and five fingers. So definitely, Ladakh is a territory of India, but China claims that. Arunachal Pradesh is a territory of India. China claims that. Nepal, Bhutan, okay, they are separate countries which is being claimed by China. Sikkim is being claimed by China. So this is how you see China under these premiers, under these presidents. We have seen China has developed these expansionist policies or imperialistic attitude. You see that earlier colonial rulers used to have that imperialistic attitude. So now we see this expansionism, assertionism, dominance attitude of China is seen. That is the reason why you see when we are talking about South China Sea. Okay, under South China Sea, with every country, China is having issues. Okay, so Sparcel Islands, Parsley Islands, Shoal Islands, Thomas Shoal, Scarborough Islands. We'll see, like all these places which I have discussed are the places which will be repeatedly in the news, because around these are the places in South China Sea. These places are always these places are being claimed by China, and these places are also being claimed by Southeast Asian countries. So China follows this aggressive attitude. So in this context, yes, China is an aggressive nation, but it has been conveyed, it has been proved to the world that if there is any country in the world which have which have the capability to counter the rise of China, or which can question China, is India. Because India has this demographic dividend. India is a growing economy. India is also strategically located at the head of Indian Ocean region, and India also acts as a net security provider. Okay, net security provider in Indian Ocean region. So that is the reason why India always out balances Asia's power dynamics. So that is the reason why, whether it might be UK, whether it might be USA and other countries, all these countries always project India as a counterbalancing power of China. So this is the basic premise or basic background which you have to understand between India and China. So now we'll be talking about Shanghai Cooperation Organization. We'll also briefly discuss about India and China relations. So this is the background which with respect to India and China, which you have to understand. Now the argument here is, what was the reason why Shanghai Cooperation Organization was formed? So you have to understand that because of this imperialistic, because of this economic, China wanted to becoming the economic power or most powerful nation in the world. And for that matter, China have become the most powerful nation. Okay, so that is, I also gave you the examples also. Why China is the most powerful nation? It is because, majority of the investments all over the world, whether it might be Europe, whether it might be USA, were led by China. China is doing large bulk of investments in USA. That is the reason why I said no. In the federal reserves, or for that matter, government shares. Okay, government securities. India, we call government securities. On the same lines, those government shares in USA, majority of these government shares were brought by China. Majority of investments in many sectors in America were also led by China. So that is the reason why the rise of China is always at a rise of China. Okay, rise of China is a issue for not only India but all over the world countries. But this rise of China, what happened was, now when China was rising, for any country to become powerful, first and foremost, what is very much important for any country to become powerful? Economy. Now China has economy. Next, security. Majorly, a country which want to become progressive, or a country which want to progress, or which want to develop, they want their borders to be secure. So in this context, what happened was, China is bordering with Russia. So in 1991, what China have observed is, in 1991, you see the disintegration of USSR. USSR got disintegrated. So when USSR got disintegrated into different countries, what China have seen is, after this disintegration, these countries which has been disintegrated had border issues. They had border issues with China. They had border issues among themselves. So what China have seen is these border issues, and in these countries during that point of time also, there was counter insurgencies, or terrorism was increasing. So China realized that we are at the borders of these countries. So China, which was growing already by 1991, China's manufacturing hub has become very strong. That is the reason why you see in 2001 year of China is very much important. 2001 is very important for China. I'll tell you, 2001 China entered into World Trade Organization. Before that, China did not become a part of WTO, World Trade Organization. In 2001, China also laid the foundations for Shanghai Cooperation Organization. And okay, and you'll also see after 2001 only, BRICS summits got strengthened. So you see, after 2001, means it is nothing but, what I'm trying to say is, you can realize that China has decided 2001 to be the announcement year. See, I am entered the global stage. It is the time of ruling of China. When you look at that year, the measures from later on, the policies followed by China from later on will clearly says that, like, కూలీ సినిమాలో రజనీకాంత్ వస్తారు చూడండి, లేకపోతే లైక్ మైక్ పట్టుకొని అనౌన్స్ చేస్తారు చూడండి, అలానే చైనా ఈస్ ట్రైంగ్ టు అనౌన్స్ ఇట్స్ అరైవల్ ఆన్ ద గ్లోబల్ స్టేజ్. That I try to tell you with respect to World Trade Organization, joining World Trade Organization also. And the reason why 2001 is also very much important is in 2001 only US Twin Towers were been attacked by Osama bin Laden. You know that. So anyways, keeping that story aside, but you have to understand that China have realized that its economic growth will be hampered, will be stopped by border issues or terrorism, rising terrorism. So China has formed a group of 5, that is what we call as in Shanghai 5. So these 5 countries came together and formed a group called Shanghai Cooperation Organization, or Shanghai 5. Initially they formed a Shanghai 5, majorly China, Russia and Central Asian countries. Now you understood why Central Asian countries, because those countries were being divided and they are having border issues, they are also having terrorism is issue. So why Shanghai 5 was formed initially was resolve border issues, next fight terrorism, next bolster regional security, counter American influence in Central Asian region. As I said, no, it is trying to announce to the world that I have arrived. So out of the box, if at all I just say why Shanghai Cooperation Organization without explaining the premise, you won't be able to appreciate this. So Shanghai Cooperation Organization majorly was formed to resolve the border issues, to fight terrorism, to address regional security and counter American influence in Central Asia. Okay, so what is Shanghai Cooperation Organization? Now you understood why it has been formed. Now, intergovernmental regional, initially India was not a part of Shanghai Cooperation Organization. You have to understand that India became a part of Shanghai Cooperation Organization in 2017. So both India and Pakistan joined Shanghai Cooperation Organization in 2017. What is Shanghai Cooperation Organization? Intergovernmental regional organization aimed at conference building, peace and stability, and cooperation in security, economy, S&T, culture, energy, transport, tourism, and environment. So more or less the same. But what is the unique USP anta చూడండి? The USP of Shanghai Cooperation Organization is, uniqueness of Shanghai Cooperation Organization is majorly border issues and counter terrorism. Now you can understand. Now don't you think India is also one country which is having border issues? India is also one country which is wanted to become a part, which is affecting with terrorism. So that is the reason why India always wanted to become a part of Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Because of this, India joined Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So recently in 2024, Belarus has joined. So before that, in 2023, Iran joined. So Shanghai Cooperation Organization is a member of 10 countries. You go through that. You don't have this Turkmenistan in Central Asia. Out of 5 Central Asian countries, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, okay, so Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan and Kazakhstan. So out of the Central Asia, you don't have this Turkmenistan. Apart from that, you have this India, Pakistan joined in 2017. Those earlier, these were see, Shanghai 5, we discussed about Shanghai 5, no? China, Russia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan. So Uzbekistan was also not part of initially Shanghai 5. So later Uzbekistan joined. Next 2017, India and Pakistan joined in 2017. Iran joined in 2023 and Belarus joined in 2024. Okay, so India, as I said, no, Iran is one of the natural partner of India. India is having very close relations with Iran. That is the reason why always India strives to make Iran a part of organizations which India is part of. So because of the efforts of India only, Iran became member. So what is the Shanghai Cooperation Organization? Permanent Intergovernmental Regional Organization. So it was founded in 15th June, evolved from Shanghai 5. focus: security, political stability, economic cooperation, and cultural exchanges. Headquarters of Shanghai Cooperation Organization Secretariat is in Beijing. Next, there is an organization called Regional Anti-Terrorist Structure, that is RATS. That headquarters is in Tashkent. Okay, this RATS as an institution is very much effective in countering terrorism in this region, whether it might be South Asia, Southeast Asia, majorly Central Asian region. This region, RATS as an institution is very effective. So what is the guiding, what is Shanghai spirit? I have given you, you can go through that. Why SCO matters for India? Why in 2017 India became a member of Shanghai Cooperation Organization? India is also affected with terrorism because Shanghai Cooperation Organization is effectively working against counter-terrorism. There is an institutional structure called RATS, which is RATS is working to address counter-terrorism. So that is the reason why for counter-terrorism, because through RATS we share intelligence sharing, we share what are the new technologies which has to be evolved to address terrorism. So joint actions, what are the joint actions which have to be taken? Next, Central Asia access. India, if you look at India's map, as POK is with Pakistan, last class also we discussed, as POK is with Pakistan, as POK is with Pakistan, India don't have direct access to Central Asia, because if Afghanistan was, India has border with Afghanistan, means if POK was part of India, India used to have a border with Afghanistan. Through Afghanistan we could have easily connected to Central Asia, but now POK is with Pakistan. That is the reason why POK is very much important for India, and that is the reason why China don't want India to have control over POK. So geostrategic locations. So as POK is with Pakistan, like POK is with Pakistan is not the correct terminology. The administration, POK has been illegally occupied by Pakistan. That is the reason why India don't have access to Central Asia. So that is the reason why now India have to devise a plan to have connectivity with Central Asia. Now many people would be asking me, question sir, why India is running behind Central Asia? Central Asia is a region which has good energy resources. Okay, Central Asia has high energy resources, especially gas, nuclear and oil resources. So that is the reason why Central Asia is very much important for India. So through Shanghai Cooperation Organization, now almost all except Turkmenistan, almost all the Central Asian countries are part of India, are part of Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So as they are part of Shanghai Cooperation Organization, India can have access to Central Asia, and that is the reason why, you know, now before this India and Pakistan has devised, India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Tapi pipeline from Central Asia to Afghanistan into Pakistan and India. So we have this Tapi gas pipeline, which is connecting Central Asia with India. The Tapi pipeline was majorly spearheaded by Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Why it was spearheaded is because India having an issue with respect to accessing Central Asia. Now we understood what is Tapi pipeline, what is Central Asian access issue. So we don't have access to Central Asian region. That is the reason why now, although if India becomes Shanghai Cooperation Organization member, India will not say that India will automatically get the access. But the point here is, as these countries are close countries, Pakistan will get easily convinced, because from 2017 onwards, these discussions were going on. Pakistan, you have to allow pipeline from India till Central Asia, because it will not only help to India, it will also be helpful to Pakistan. Okay, so this is how simple point ఏంటి అంటే గ్రూప్ లో ఉంటుంది చూడండి, ఇన్ ఎ గ్రూప్ this generally happens, and this happens more in Ashok Nagar. Okay, సో ఫ్రెండ్ సర్కిల్ ఉంటుంది, ఓ 10 మంది తిరుగుతారు, దాంట్లో అమ్మాయి అబ్బాయి ఇష్టపడతారు. ఇష్టపడ్డప్పుడు బాగానే ఉంటది, మిగిలిన 8 మంది మర్చిపోతారు. అర్థమైందా? ఫస్ట్ 10 మంది తిరిగేటోళ్ళు, తర్వాత అమ్మాయి అబ్బాయి ఇష్టపడతారు. సో ఇదంతా బాగానే ఉంటది, ఇష్టపడ్డప్పుడు బాగానే ఉంటది. వీళ్ళ అందరు కలిసి డిన్నర్కి వెళ్ళేటోళ్ళు, ఇప్పుడు ఏమైతుంది అంటే వీళ్ళిద్దరు కలిసి డిన్నర్కి వెళ్ళడం ఇవన్నీ స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది, అంతా బాగానే ఉంటది, ఆల్ ఈస్ గుడ్. బ్రేకప్ అయింది, మళ్ళీ అప్పుడు ఏమవుతారు అంటే ఆ గ్రూప్ లో కలిసి తిరగడం స్టార్ట్ చేస్తారు. వేరే వాళ్ళు ఏం చేస్తారంటే అట్లీస్ట్ ఇష్యూస్ అయినా రిజాల్వ్ చేస్తారా లేదా? సో ఇది కూడా నేను అదే చెప్తున్నాను. సో ఇండియా పాకిస్తాన్ bilateral relations are not good, but now don't you think these countries as a group, when they are part of a group, so resolving issues will become more efficient? And for that matter, India and China is also having not having close relations, but as a part of Shanghai Cooperation Organization, as a part of BRICS, don't you think they will come to common grounds to, they will look for larger issues rather than bilateral issues? Now you see, earlier you should understand the beauty of Shanghai Cooperation Organization, how international relations changes so quick. In our class only I discussed that once ministerial level Shanghai Cooperation Organization meeting happened. This is a summit level. Summit level means heads of the state meet. అర్థమైంది కదా? Summit means heads of the state meet, either prime minister or president, they meet. So generally we call to summit level meeting, means when the heads of the meeting happens. So before that there was a ministerial level meeting or a diplomats level meeting. In that what happened was, Shanghai Cooperation Organization did not pass a resolution condemning Pahalgam attacks. Okay, then India said that we will not sign that. But this time, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, they mentioned about Pahalgam. This is because Trump is bringing India and China close. Earlier, China was very much strict that no, we won't talk about Pahalgam. But now, you see, they did mention about Pahalgam. Now, why Trump is crying? This is what happens when you miss a good friend, and because of your behavior, you miss a good friend, and later you'll realize the importance of good friend. And our realization epudu ostadi ante that person will become close to your enemies. Then you'll అదేంటి అంటే పుండు మీద కారం చల్లినట్టు ఉంటది. అనేది పాపం ఎందుకు ఈ మధ్యలో ట్రంప్ ఆరోగ్యం ఎందుకు బాగుండట్లేదు? ఈ మధ్యలో అంతా బాగానే ఉన్నాడు, డాన్స్ చేసిండు, స్పీచ్లు ఇస్తాడు, ఈ మధ్యలో ఎందుకు ఆరోగ్యం బాగుండట్లేదు? ఇదే. And that is also the reason why many Americans, whether including Republicans, are questioning Trump. You want to, Trump is saying that I want to make America great. In fact, he made other countries great by uniting other countries. Now you see the union of China, Russia, India has clearly shown the power shift. And America never wanted that. What America never wanted is happening, and this is happening majorly because of Trump. Okay, so anyways, so Central Asian Axis. Now you understood Central Asian Axis. You have to understand in this context. Once India and Pakistan or India China joins a grouping, whether it may be regional or international grouping, what happens is bilateral issues will be, I'm not saying that bilateral issues are not important. Listen carefully. I'm not saying bilateral issues are also important. Border issues are very much important. But the point here is that, see, between countries, countries like India and Nepal, which are very close, definitely there will be some issues. Now regarding Lipu Lake Pass, through that pass, we Indians visit to Manasa Sarovar Yatra. So regarding that, India and China ministers recently, foreign ministers of India and China met, and they have decided about Lipu Lake Pass. Immediately what Nepal have said, in the last class we discussed that. So in the last class we discussed that Lipu Lake Pass, Nepal is saying that Lipu Lake Pass affects Nepal. So without the consensus of Nepal, without taking Nepal into consensus, how did you take decision? Now, Indian minister has clearly said that Lipulekras is historically okay. India have rights. India, it is under the control of India. So with close countries also there would be issues. If there are issues, okay, resolving issues is important, but also keeping those issues for a time being aside and thinking about broader issues is also very much important. This happens when you become a part of organizations like Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Now, forum to deepen ties, discuss Afghanistan, energy, pharma, and IT and skills. Next, energy security. Engage Russia, Central Asia on hydrocarbons and clean energy. So why? Because we need hydrocarbons, we need clean energy. We need pharma, we need IT, skills, trade in pharma. Although in Asia or in the world, uh, which country is having advanced pharmacy is China. First it is China, then India. So that is a reason why you see India nowadays is focusing more on APIs and under active pharmaceutical ingredients. So we are developing APIs. We want to counter China, but between China and India or between all these Shanghai Cooperation Organization countries, pharma industry is also, trade in pharma is also very much important, and it is very much important for both China and India. Next, connectivity alternatives. Push International North-South Transport Corridor. What we discussed about International North-South Transport Corridor through Gujarat. From Mundra port, we are connecting with Iran. Okay, Chabahar port. From Iran, we are connecting with Afghanistan. So we are trying to promote International North-South Transport Corridor through Chabahar, Ashgabat agreement. So basically, it is nothing but connectivity with Central Asia is also very much important for India. So to connect with Central Asia, how we are using Chabahar port, how we are promoting International North-South Transport Corridor, how we are trying to push for Tapi pipeline. As Tapi pipeline earlier was so much in the news, once relations between India and Pakistan got intensified, then Tapi pipeline has become silent. So Shanghai Cooperation Organization is important for India for counter-terrorism, to access Central Asia, for energy security, hydrocarbons and green energy, connectivity alternatives. We are, as Pakistan is not allowing connectivity with Central Asia, we are trying to do that with Iran. Now, Iran is also a part of Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Now, don't you think connectivity will become easy? Next, strategic balance. So, see, if China is a part of an organization which India is not, and China will try to develop close relations with many neighboring countries. Now, if India is not a member of that Shanghai Cooperation Organization, the balance would be inclined too much towards China. So, for countering China also, strategic balance, we want to engage with China and Pakistan in a multilateral setting, reinforce ties with Russia and Iran, and amplify voice of Global South. Through Shanghai Cooperation Organization, we want to increase the consolidation of the voice of Global South. Global South means developing countries and least developed countries. So these countries will be polarized as a grouping, and for that matter, India wanted to balance the ties with Russia. India want to balance the ties with Russia and China. India want to resolve the issues between China and Pakistan. So through Shanghai Cooperation Organization, then it will become easy. See, when there is a regional organization, what happens is, like regional organization like Shanghai Cooperation Organization is, bilateral issues will be shadowed by regional issues. Now this region has so many issues. People will talk about these regional issues. And once you get a common grounds, once you become close as a regional organization, gradually that can also be used, that can also be leveraged to resolve bilateral issues. Okay, see, that is the reason why in international relations, always remember common interests are very much important. Common interest. Every country will have national interest, but every country will have national interest of their own. But my national interest is aligning with the national interest of China. My national interest is aligning with the interest of Pakistan. My national interest is aligning with the interest of Russia. That will become common interest. So common interest, regional organizations work for common interest. What is the common interest of Shanghai Cooperation Organization? We want to promote accessibility around Central Asia because Central Asia is having high energy resources. We want to make sure this Central Asian region, South Asian region, these members of Shanghai Cooperation Organization should not have any terrorist problem. So counter-terrorism is a common interest. Resolving border issues is a common interest. Promoting energy security is a common interest. Promoting trade is a common interest. Okay, Shanghai Cooperation Organization's strategic framework. What is that? Counterterrorism, energy security, connectivity alternatives. This we have discussed. Why why Shanghai matters for India is yesterday in the last thing we discussed about why it is important for India. Now let us discuss more about why Shanghai Cooperation is very much important. See, this also includes challenges with respect to India's Shanghai Cooperation Organization. You see, the Belt Road Initiative, which is been led by China, Belt Road Initiative, which is led by China, is passing through POK, is passing through India. So sovereignty of India is at stake. So that is the reason why China's domination is one of the major concern for India. And Pakistan factor. Okay, bilateral spillover can impede India's counter-terrorism agenda. You see, Pakistan is trying to promote terrorism. So we can highlight. Now India and Pakistan don't have direct diplomatic talks after Pahalgam. Now, don't you think these two countries can be, the issues between these two countries can be mediated by China? The issues between these two countries can be mediated by Russia. So, definitely these two countries' issues will also can be resolved in internet. I'm not saying that we have to take the mediation, but I'm not saying that we want third party interference. I'm saying that for a greater cause, you will take this into cognizance that we have to resolve issues. So next, consensus rule. This is very much important. Shanghai Cooperation Organization works through consensus. What do you mean by consensus is, tomorrow should I take a class or not is my question. There are 50 students. On these 50 students will say that yes sir, tomorrow majority of the people says that yes, you can take class. That is majority. Then what is consensus is, each 50 of you give assurance or say yes to take class, then only I can take class. Consensus means everyone should align, everyone should agree. Shanghai Cooperation Organization works through consensus. Recently, I said no ministerial levels as they could not mention about Pahalgam. India did not sign that resolution, but recently, in Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit level meeting, Pahalgam attacks was been mentioned. India have signed the resolution. So it goes by consensus. Any member can stall the proposals. This is also one of the challenge, because you see, India has issue with China. China have issue with India. Both India and China regarding, as they are not able to establish common grounds, India will stall the proposals passed by China. China will stall the proposals passed by India. You see, actually, if Trump equation is not there, if Trump behavior is not in this manner, India and China would not have resolved issues. Okay, that is the reason why you see always in international relations there are no permanent friends and permanent enemies, only common interest. So land access gap we discussed. So now geopolitical tightrope. Try to understand this. SCO's Russia China tilt versus India's US Quad and Indo-Pacific partnerships. One of the major problem with Shanghai Cooperation Organization is, see, this is the beauty of India. The beauty of India's international relations is always it will be walking on a very tight rope. Okay, now the two major powers. Historically, the two major powers has always been Russia and USA. India has beautifully tried to balance the relations between USA and Russia. Okay, and now recently another issue is India also became a member of Shanghai Cooperation Organization. India is trying to become close with China, Russia, because Shanghai Cooperation Organization founding members is Russia and China. India is tilting towards China and Russia, but also India is not leaving US. So India recently joined a group called Quad. Quad is a grouping of USA, India, Japan, and Australia. So India is also doing Indo-Pacific. Regarding Indo-Pacific, we are also doing partnerships. So India always is trying to balance between USA, Russia. India is trying to balance between Russia, China group and US-led groups. So this is a reason why this is a beauty of India's foreign policy. So managing India's foreign policy or guiding this foreign policy of India on a tight rope is not that easy. Okay, this is very challenging in itself. So 2025 in Shanghai Cooperation Organization, what have been decided? So they discussed about establishing anti-drug center. They discussed about universal center for countering challenges and threats. Means what are the challenges and threats? Majorly counter terrorism. And they discussed about additional specialized centers. Okay, so they discussed about additional specialized center for organized crime. So this is organized crime, security and drugs. So they discuss about these three issues: organized crime, security and drugs, and condemnation of terrorists. Shanghai Cooperation Organization explicitly mentioned Pahalgam attack. Last time they only mentioned about Balochistan attacks. They did not mention Pahalgam. That is the reason why India has passed these resolutions, agreed to sign this resolution, pledged to strengthen CT's counter-terrorism cooperation via RADS. Okay, partnership. Recently, now I think in Shanghai Cooperation Organization there are 10 members plus 17 countries which have got observer status. Okay, recently Laos got partner status from observers. Okay, so membership rale. Okay, observer and dialogue tracks merged into single partner category. So we are also trying to promote membership to more countries. Many dialogue partners are becoming many countries are becoming dialogue partners also. Economy and energy. So we have given push for infrastructure development, energy security, green transition projects. This is very much important. There was a proposal which has been put forward for SCO Development Bank, and China promised will invest bulk in development of Shanghai Development Bank. Okay, so we are also this is very much important. This has been recently agreed, and Shanghai Development Bank is very much important. So whenever you are talking about this, sir, if such a type of proposals has been put forward, UPSC tend to ask what is the difference between Shanghai, if at all it starts, if they have agreed, they will ask what is the difference between Shanghai Cooperation Organization Bank, Asian Development Bank, Asian Infrastructure and Investment Bank, World Bank, so IMF. So they will be asking comparison. You have to understand. So World Bank, what is the difference between World Bank and Asian Development Bank? Asian Development Bank is led by which country? Asian Development Bank is led by Japan. Asian Infrastructure and Investment Bank. Okay, so when you are talking about this, Asian Infrastructure and Investment Bank is led by which country? Okay, what is the vote share? Is India a member of Asian Development Bank? So these type of organizations, these type of comparisons are very much important. So those type of comparisons will look in our classes. But I'm trying to say that if at all that has been formulated, if proposal was put forward, if at all it has been agreed, then the concept, such a type of questions will be very much important. Sir, UPSC has repeatedly asked, okay, UPSC has repeatedly asked about Asian Development Bank, Asian Infrastructure and Investment Bank. Okay, where is it headquarters? Who is the largest contributor? What is the vote share? All these things. Next, what India has put forward at Shanghai Cooperation Organization 2024. 2025, India pitched for security, connectivity, opportunity, civilizational dialogue, and people-to-people links. So, you know, with all these countries, especially with respect to with China, with Russia, with Pakistan, with Afghanistan, okay, with Iran, we have, we have good civilizational connect. So India is trying to put forward, formulate, use civilizational connects as an India want to leverage on these civilizational connects. Recently, you see, it has been the trademark of Narendra Modi's foreign policy to use civilizational links, use the civilizational heritage to promote connectivity between, to develop good relations with other countries. So this is a trademark. And earlier also many people have used, but now Narendra Modi's foreign policy is embarking more, is inclining more on civilization, religion ties, religious ties. That is the reason why now you see we are trying to promote uh, Buddhist circuits in India. Okay, Bodh Gaya is trying to be developed as an international Buddhist center. Okay, so we are trying to use religion, we are trying to use cultural ties, we are trying to use civilizational ties, and thereby we are trying to promote connectivity. Connectivity or means nothing but good relations. Okay, so chair 2025, 2026 and 2027 also. Okay, 21 to for next till 27, Kyrgyzstan will be the chair, will have the secretary. The secretary of Shanghai Cooperation Organization will be from Kyrgyzstan. Okay, so now 2025, as I said, no, 2026, 25 years of Shanghai Cooperation Organization for a stable world, development and prosperity. Means nothing but what is the theme of Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit 2025. This is the theme. 25 years of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization together for a stable world, development and prosperity. Now, what did I say? When there is anniversary celebrations, UPSC want to have its piece of cake. Yes or no? So that is the reason why 2026 prelims and mains SCO is utmost important, whether it might be for prelims or whether it might be for prelims and mains. Okay, so SCO is very much important. Next, why Shanghai Cooperation Organization is important in general, not from the perspective of India, for all the countries, from the perspective of all the countries, because it is seen as an Easter counterbalance to NATO. You know, USA plus European countries have led a group called NATO. What is NATO? Simple, North Atlantic. Okay, I didn't know that. Chevan, what does NATO? It is nothing but military agreement. If you are being attacked by someone, we will come and help you. Now, because of NATO only, Russia have started. Russia and Ukraine war has been started because Ukraine said that I will become the member of NATO. It is not that Ukraine said that I want to become the member. It is US said that Ukraine, I will give you NATO membership. When Ukraine realized that, okay, I'm going to get NATO membership, immediately they said interest. They have shown interest. See, that is the reason why I never question the Putin's policy, because the argument of Russia is very clear here. Now, USA is a major enemy of Russia. Now, Ukraine is a border of Russia. Now, you are asking, what you are trying to do is, you are asking Trump, you are providing a seat beside the Russia. You are asking the enemy of Russia to come enter into your surroundings. Is it fair? For any country, it won't be fair. See, India don't have any other borders. India have to share the border of Pakistan and China. But through NATO, through expansion of NATO, what Ukraine tried to do was to bring USA presence to Ukraine or near to Russia. That is the reason why Russia was questioning. And Russia is saying, Russia's points are very clear. Ukraine should not take NATO membership. Okay, so it is seen as an eastern counterbalance to NATO, enhances security cooperation among members, helps deal with terrorism, particularly ISIS. Okay, because why ISIS precisely is, ISIS is becoming the major terrorist organization. And ISIS is not only becoming the major terrorist organization, ISIS is becoming the deadly terrorist organization. And ISIS is expanding its wings all over the world. You see, recently ISIS has expanded its wings to Europe. ISIS is planning to expand terrorist activities in India. That is the reason why, you know, in Afghanistan, ISIS has established a base, a wing. ఓకే సో కొన్ని కోచింగ్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్స్ బ్రాంచెస్ ఉంటాయి చూడండి, ఇక్కడ అక్కడ అక్కడ, అలానే ఐసిస్ ఆల్సో స్టార్టెడ్ న్యూ బ్రాంచెస్. సో దే హ్యావ్ స్టార్టెడ్ ఎ న్యూ బ్రాంచ్ ఇన్ ఆఫ్ఘనిస్తాన్ కాల్డ్ ఇస్లామిక్ స్టేట్ ఆఫ్ ఖురాసన్. ఓకే, ఇస్లామిక్ స్టేట్ ఆఫ్ ఖురాసన్. This Islamic State of Khorasan, which has been established in Afghanistan, the main purpose of this Islamic State of Khorasan is to spread terrorism in India. Their main purpose is to spread terrorism in India. So helps deal with terrorism, particularly ISIS, increasing economic cooperation in the region, China's Belt and One Road initiative. Okay, India's push for connectivity with Chabahar. So what are the issues with respect to Shanghai Cooperation Organization? One thing is, India is opposing One Belt, One Road initiative. China is using SCO as a platform to promote One Belt, One Road initiative. That is the reason why you see, whenever India visits the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, every country in the world will say that, especially Shanghai Cooperation Organization members will say that, India, you join One Belt, One Road initiative. Means, as I said, no, a regional group will try to resolve the issues between countries, but sometimes they will pressurize you also indirectly. Okay, they will try to pressurize India. Now we see Shanghai Cooperation Organization is also trying to persuade India, convince India to become a member of Belt Road Initiative. Okay, see, when it will be helpful for India is what China have to say that, what India have to say that, except China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, you stop China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. We don't have any other problem with other corridors. There are 6 corridors on the Belt Road Initiative, and China-Pakistan Economic Corridor is also not economic. Okay, viability issues unnai, security issues unnai. Alantappudu you stop CPEC, then we will join Belt Road Initiative. India should see, eppudaina The problem is converting challenge into an opportunity is very much important. India, at times, India would have that opportunity to convert challenge into opportunity. So it's okay. That is what I'm saying. In international relations, every time we have to be ready. We have to be very careful. What are the new avenues we are going to get? What are the new opportunities we are going to get? How to encash on that opportunity? So traditional hostility between India and Pakistan is also one of the major issue. And Russia and China, recently China, for that matter, India also questioned Russia standoff over Ukraine. The behavior of Russia with respect to Ukraine, because Ukraine was invaded by Ukraine was attacked by Russia, and the Russia-Ukraine war. Now this is almost third year of war, and this war is continuing. Okay, there is no peace which has been agreed between Russia and Ukraine. So everyone will question that. Even China have questioned. That is also one of the major challenge. What India have discussed, what India have argued with respect to Shanghai Cooperation Organization. India's approach and policy towards Shanghai Cooperation Organization rests on three pillars. Okay, what are they? Security, connectivity, opportunity. Okay, and what was the statements which is given by Narendra Modi on Shanghai Cooperation platform? Okay, terrorism is a threat to any country, every country. Terrorism is a threat for every society, and terrorism is a threat for every citizen. So that's why we have to fight terrorism. And Narendra Modi also proposed creation of civilizational dialogue forum. As I said, one of the unique unique quality of Narendra Modi's foreign policy is promoting religion, using religion as an to attract relations, to promote religions, and also civilization. So I propose the creation of civilizational dialogue forum. Okay, so we have to promote connectivity using civilization, culture, traditions, and literature. And India has always believed, sir, as why we discussed SCO in this detail is this is very much important for the next year examination. As I said, 25 years, 2021, 2026. So 25th anniversary. So this is very much important. And inkokati endante Trump behavior valla kuda. Okay, so India has always believed that strong connectivity not only promotes trade but also opens doors to trust and development. చైనా వల్ల అసలు ట్రస్ట్ చేయదు. బట్ పాయింట్ ఏంటి అంటే సిచ్యువేషన్ మన చేతిలో లేదు. అదే సెల్ఫ్ రెస్పెక్ట్ మూమెంట్. సో 100 years సార్ నన్ను తిట్టుకుంటారు కదా, సార్ ఎక్కడి నుంచి వస్తున్నాయి ఈ 25 years, ఈ 100 years, ఈ 50 years? సార్ దిస్ ఈస్ ద థీమ్. చెప్తున్నాను చూడండి, ద పల్స్ ఆఫ్ యూపీఎస్సీ ఇస్ దట్. యూపీఎస్సీ ఇలాంటివే పట్టుకుంటది, వేరే ఏం లేదు. సో 100 years ఆఫ్ సెల్ఫ్ రెస్పెక్ట్ మూమెంట్. చెప్పండి, మీకు హిస్టరీ అయిపోయింది కాబట్టి చెప్పండి, హూ స్టార్టెడ్ సెల్ఫ్ రెస్పెక్ట్ మూమెంట్? పెరియార్. ఎవరైనా పెరియారు? తమిళనాడు. అంటే బ్యూటీ ఏం తెలుసా, మనల్ని ఎట్లుంటారు తెలుసా, ఒక్కొక్కరు ఒక్కొక్కటి చెప్పి తర్వాత టీచర్ పజిల్ సాల్వ్ చేయాలన్నమాట. జిగ్జా పజిల్ ఉంటుంది చూడండి, ఒక్కొక్కరు ఒక్కొక్క వర్డ్ చెప్పి ఫ్యాకల్టీ రోల్ ఏంది అంటే ఇవన్నిటిని కలిపి ఒకటి చెప్పండి సార్ అంటారు. జిగ్జా పజిల్ ఉంటుంది చూడండి, అంతే చేస్తారు అనమాట. నాకు తెలిసింది ఇది, వేరే వాళ్ళకి తెలిసింది ఇది, అన్ని కలుపుకో, నువ్వే చెప్పుకో. ఎవరి పెరియార్? సెల్ఫ్ రెస్పెక్ట్ మూమెంట్ అంటే ఏంటి? సో పెరియార్ వాజ్ ఏ క్రూసేడర్ అగేన్స్ట్ క్యాస్టిజం. ఏంటి అంటే పెరియారు ఒకసారి ఐ థింక్ వారణాసికి వెళ్తారు. సో దర్శనం కోసమో దేనికోసం వెళ్తప్పుడు అక్కడ హీ ఫేస్డ్ క్యాస్టిస్ట్ స్లర్, అంటే క్యాస్టిస్ట్ అబ్యూస్. హీ గెట్స్ అఫెండెడ్. దెన్ హీ రియలైజ్ దట్ lower caste are not being treated properly. So then he started self-respect movement. Actually, in India, let me tell you this point. Now we are not talking just about Periyar. Mahatma Jyotiba Phule, is one of the founding person who Mahatma Jyotiba Phule he majorly talked about domination. So he argued about non-Brahmin mobilization. Means why should few Brahmins rule us? Okay, so he talked about uniting non-Brahmins. He talked about questioning Brahmin orthodoxy. He talked about questioning Brahmin. He was he first argued about. He was the first who talked about Brahmin domination also. So taking inspiration from Phule, many people, whether it might be Ambedkar, was also inspired by him. Okay, E.V. Ramaswamy Rayakar, self-respect movement, also inspired by Jyotirao Phule. Okay, this is very much important. So Dravidians, he's a social reformer. Okay, so who is E.V. Ramas? Okay. Okay. అవును I want to ask you one simple question. Why casteism is more in North India and not so much intensity is seen in South India? సౌత్ ఇండియాలో ఉంటుంది కానీ నా క్వశ్చన్ ఏంటి అంటే నార్త్ ఇండియాలో ఎక్కువ ఉంటుంది, ఓకే, సౌత్ ఇండియాలో తక్కువ ఉంటుంది. Caste discrimination, caste atrocities is also more in North India. North India, lower caste politicians are also comparatively less. ఎందుకు? లిటరసీ రేట్ ఎక్కువ ఉంటుంది సౌత్ ఇండియాలో. మరి అట్లయితే చాలా లిటరేట్ స్టేట్స్ లో కూడా క్యాస్ట్ అదేంటి దాన్ని ఏమంటారు, క్యాస్ట్ డిస్క్రిమినేషన్ ఎక్కువ ఉంది. లిటరసీ ఈజ్ నాట్ ఏ డైరెక్ట్ లిటరసీ టు అన్ ఎక్స్టెంట్, ఎస్ ఇట్స్ ఓకే. నార్త్ ఇండియాలో లిటరసీ లెవెల్ ఉన్న మంచిగా ఉన్న స్టేట్స్ లో కూడా క్యాస్ట్ డిస్క్రిమినేషన్ ఎక్కువ ఉంది. అదే నేను అన్న ఆర్థోడాక్సీ అంటేనే అది కదా సార్. ఎందుకు ఎక్కువ ఉంది ఆ ఆర్థోడాక్సీ? ఎక్కువ కమ్యూనిజం ఎవరు కమ్యూనిజం ఫాలో, ఇంకా కమ్యూనిజం ఫాలో చేస్తే క్యాస్ట్ డిస్క్రిమినేషన్ ఉండదు కదమ్మా. కమ్యూనిజం ఇస్ కమ్యూనిస్టిక్ ఐడియాలజీ. ఓకే, కమ్యూనిజం గోస్ ఫర్ ఈక్వాలిటీ. మీరు నక్సలైట్స్ ఎవరు? కమ్యూనిస్ట్ ఐడియాలజీ. వాళ్ళు క్యాస్ట్ డిస్క్రిమినేషన్ గురించి మాట్లాడతారా, ఎగాలిటేరియన్ సొసైటీ గురించి మాట్లాడతారా? అండ్ ఇన్ఫాక్ట్ ఏంటి అంటే సౌత్ ఇండియన్ స్టేట్ లో కమ్యూనిజం ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ ఎక్కువ ఉంది. సో అదొక రీజన్. కానీ మీరు ఉల్టా చెప్పారు. చెప్పు, కర్ణాటక చాలా రోజుల తర్వాత కనిపిస్తున్నావు. కాగా వేర్ డిడ్ యూ గో? వై హోమ్ సిక్? వేర్ ఇస్ యువర్ ఫ్రెండ్? He's still homesick. Or otherwise you did go to Karnataka to support this non-Kannada go back movement. Did you go to Karnataka to lead that movement? No. He's only Divya Chabu. Belgav Divya. Why? ఈ క్వశ్చన్ అర్థమైందా? అసలు ఏ టాపిక్ లో మనం డిస్కషన్ లో ఉన్నాం, ఎందుకు ఈ క్వశ్చన్ అడిగినా అని కూడా ఆలోచించవచ్చు. పెరియార్ ఉండడం వల్ల. సార్ పెరియార్ మనకు సౌత్ ఇండియాలో ఉన్నాడు కాబట్టి, నార్త్ ఇండియాలో పెరియార్ లేరు కాబట్టి, ఓకే, నార్త్ ఇండియాలో లేడు కాబట్టి అందుంది హైలైట్. ఇయ్యంగానే అల్లుకోపోతారు కదా స్టోరీ. సార్ నాకు అదే అనిపిస్తుంది, మీరు అందరు కలిసి ఈ క్రియేటివ్ ఫీల్డ్ ని, క్రియేటివిటీని సప్రెస్ చేస్తున్నారు. మీరు మూవీ ఇండస్ట్రీలో వస్తే రాజమౌళికి తాతయ్య కూర్చుంటారు మీరు అందరు. ఓకే సార్, పార్ట్లీ దట్ ఈస్ కరెక్ట్. ద రీజన్, లుక్, ద మేజర్ థింగ్ వై in North India we see still caste discrimination is so much is seen with so much intensity that has been diluted to an extent. I'm not saying meer annar chudandi, I'm not saying caste discrimination is not there. I'm saying that caste discrimination, okay, I'm saying caste discrimination is there, but it is not seen with that intensity in South India, because in South India there are so many movements, whether Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, anti-caste movements, okay, movements against Brahmin domination, okay, these were majorly seen in South India. This have created so-called consciousness. This has created so-called consciousness among the lower caste. Political consciousness kani, cultural consciousness kani, social consciousness. That is the reason why you see South Indian states, even in Maharashtra also, you see this caste consciousness is very much polarization based on caste is we seen. And that is the reason why, because of this class consciousness, because of this movements which were working against Brahmin supremacy, which questioned upper caste hegemony, because of that, you know, that hegemony has been diluted, or the power has been shifted towards lower caste. So this has created the consciousness, this has created a sense of fear among upper caste also, to be aware about the situations. That is the reason why in South India, because of these movements, reform movements, so many caste-based reform movements, not only caste-based reform, Vijayawada movement you see in Karnataka, okay, and you know, in India, let me tell you, before Constitution formulated OBC reservations, okay, in Karnataka you see OBC reservation was being started even before independence. Okay, so OBC reservation was not started by Britishers. OBC reservation was started by Shahu Maharaj. So this caste based movements, movements against caste dominations, these movements against caste discriminations, movements questioning Brahmin orthodoxy is more. I'm not saying in North India we don't have, but it is more prevalent in South India. Once people started questioning the dominance, now don't you think automatically that domination will be diluted? So that is the reason why in South India you see these movements have led drastic change. Okay, now that is the reason why you see casteism is more prevalent in North India, and that is the reason why you see intercaste marriages to an extent is more seen in southern states. And for that matter, southern states, lower caste people have started many political parties. Many lower caste politicians you see. Okay. Dravidian social reformer Periyar and Peremo E.V. Ramaswamy. Okay. E.V. Ramaswamy, and he has been given the title called Periyar. And by the way, who gave this title Periyar to E.V. Ramaswamy? Ambedkar. Paka. It was not Ambedkar. It was given by a woman, and she was a disciple of Ambedkar. Okay, Ambedkar All India Scheduled Caste Federation unta chudandi. All India Scheduled Caste Federation first Dalit woman president was her name is Annai Meenambal. Okay, Annai Meenambal. She was the one. She gave Periyar title to E.V. Ramaswamy. Let us look into that. So, Dravidian social reformer E.V. Periyar was born on 17th September 1879. Okay, crusader against caste system, started the self-respect movement, the Dravidian movement. And unfortunately, even now, E.V. Ramaswamy, Periyar would be thinking, you know, although he started Dravidian movement, and this Dravidian movement was gradually divided into two political parties. One is C. Annadurai forming the DMK, and later you see DMK was split into AIDMK. And once you know these political parties in Tamil Nadu, you see very unique thing. Political parties which have formed against Brahmin dominations. At one point of time, Brahmins were controlling the political party. Okay, even you see political Brahmin dominations, you see in both the political parties. But initially it was against Brahmin domination. And for that matter, Jayalalitha was a Brahmin. And she was the chief minister of Tamil Nadu for how long? And anyways, so started the self-respect movement or the Dravidian movement where backward caste have equal respect. So he is demanding equal respect for backward class. Okay, was once refused a meal on a visit to Kashi because of his caste, which turned him towards atheism. Okay, affectionately called Periyar, which means respected one or elder. Okay, so next, self-respect movement founded in 1925 by Periyar. A radical social reform movement aimed. What is self-respect movement? A radical social reform movement. What is self-respect movement? It is a radical social reform movement aimed at dismantling caste oppression, especially Brahminical domination and religious orthodoxy. See, the point here is that based on interpretation, sir. See, Dravidian movement was started saying that you cannot. For that matter, you know, in India, what happens is, when you feel relative deprivation, people start protest. So, like Dravidian movement, he started Dravidian movement. The problem of majorly with respect to Tamil Nadu people is Tamil Nadu people don't want Aryan domination. So in Tamil Nadu, what is the major divide between South India and North India? Actually, we think it is language. When I discuss this in society, you have to understand that more than language, it is Aryan versus Dravidian. It is language is secondary. Okay, they don't want Aryan supremacy, and they feel that Hindi is nothing but Aryan imposition on South India. So this race, Aryan and Dravidian, was the major dividing factor, and that is also the reason why you see Sanskrit imposition they don't like. They don't like Hindi imposition. The underlying reason majorly lies in Aryan versus Dravidian. Why Aryan versus Dravidian is we considered is, Aryans considered themselves as dominant or upper caste, and they considered Dravidians are lower caste. And this divide has been strengthened. That is the reason why they led this Dravidian movement. The point here is, it is not ఎప్పుడైనా చూడండి, వెదర్ ఇట్ మైట్ బి ఖాళిస్తానీ మూమెంట్, నాగా మూమెంట్, ఎనీ సెసెషనిస్ట్ మూమెంట్ హ్యాస్ ఎ అండర్లైన్ స్ట్రాంగ్ foundations for its birth. Okay, when we are talking about Naga, the point is in North India, Northeast India. Why many Northeast Indians are demanding autonomy or secessionism is their problems are not been met. Okay, they have not been treated as an equal member in this country, or some tribes were treated as an adopted son attitude. Okay, so adanta chudandi, so giving a treatment of adopted son, when they feel that, see, the point here is, I'm not saying that government have deliberately done it. Unfortunately, some successful governments has failed, then automatically this issues happens. And you see some people, after independence, 1947, North Indian people are saying that Hindi should be the national language. South Indian states are saying that no, Hindi should not be the national language. Hindi should be the official language. Then North Indians said that Hindi should only be the official language. Then South Indians said that along with Hindi, English should also be the official language. So the point here is, you have to look into issues. But one thing is, he fought for Dravidian rights. He led the Dravidian movement. Okay, self-respect movement emerged during a period of social and political turmoil in Tamil Nadu, and non-Brahmin communities were denied rights and opportunities under the caste system. Okay, and that is the reason why in South India, temple entry movement, okay, so Izawa movement, so many movements has been started. I'm talking about those. That is the reason I said that these movements brought that change. Earlier, there was so much of caste discrimination. This to an extent has been diluted because of those movements. Periyar resigned from Indian National Congress in 1925 to start this movement, emphasizing nationalism and human dignity. So what are the objectives of self-respect movement? Abolish caste, promote rationality. And see, rationality is also very much important when we are talking about so many traditions, social traditions, caste, race. Okay, these social traditions, communalism, religion, these social traditions are being promoted because of irrational behavior. I think that Telangana is superior. Tomorrow other people will be saying that no, Andhra Pradesh is superior. No state in India is superior to another state. But you thinking that your state is superior, you thinking that your state is great. Everyone should have an affection towards state, but parochial attitude and a narrow-mindedness only, thinking by my state is superior, that will be irrational. So Periyar emphasized on rationality, encouraged logical thought on scientific understanding, challenged hegemony, means he challenged Brahminical hegemony. He promoted gender, he emphasized on gender equality. He emphasized on education and employment. He vouched for ending untouchability, discourages temples, limit new religious structures and remove caste titles, support orphans. That is the reason why I said no, he became atheist. Next, features of the movement: self-respect marriages conducted without priest. Okay, పంతులు అవసరమే లేదు. ఓకే, కావాలంటే యూట్యూబ్ లో పెట్టుకుంటాం మంత్రాలు. Okay, so in fact ఏంటి అంటే, he did not, jokes apart, he never encouraged these rites and rituals. Okay, so court marriages out of religious fold, social upliftment, opposition to the Devadasi system. He was also a social reform. That is what he emphasized on rationality. So he focused on abolishing Devadasi system, supported for widow remarriages and condemnation of untouchability. Next, women's leadership. As I said, no, Annai Meenambal presided over Women's Conference, and Veerammal mobilized women. And this woman is very much important. Annai Meenambal Shivaraj. Okay, her name is Annai Meenambal Shivaraj. Her husband Shivaraj is also one of the pioneer Dalit leader. And Shivaraj was in Tamil Nadu history, he is very famous. Shivaraj was one of the major disciple of Ambedkar. And Ambedkar కింద వీళ్ళిద్దరు వర్క్ చేసేవారు. అన్నాయ్ మీనాంబల్ Shivaraj and Shivaraj used to work. So these people used to work along with Ambedkar. Then these both got married. So that is how Annai Meenambal Shivaraj became. She became Shivaraj. And her father is also one of the educated. She is the first Dalit woman president of All India Scheduled Caste Federation, which was founded by Ambedkar. Okay, so this is the story with respect to self-respect movement. Oh no.
But
See, తమిళనాడులో ఆయనకేంది సార్ పుష్పకు కూడా కట్టించారా లేదా, కూల్ చేసిండ్రా లేదా? YouTube lo పోతుంది class. We'll discuss after the class. See, now many people think that, listen carefully, people ఎలా ఉంటారు అంటే mindset, few people activities you cannot generalize as a culture of some state. For that matter, అలా చూసుకుంటే in Tamil Nadu, in Telangana also, few people practices, you cannot generalize. Okay, that is there. And sir, గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి, let me tell you, in South Indian states, there is a concept called personality cult. Okay, personality cult is seen so much. Personality cult ఏంటి అంటే, దట్ ఇప్పుడు పవన్ కళ్యాణ్ ఫ్యాన్స్ ఉంటారు, ఓకే, అలానే ప్రభాస్ ఫ్యాన్స్ ఉంటారు, మేమంటాం కల్ట్ ఫ్యాన్స్ అంటారు చూడండి. అంటే ఏంటి అంటే, ఫర్ దెమ్ ఆయన తప్పు చేసినా కనిపించదు, ఆయన క్రిటిసైజ్ చేస్తే భరించలేరు. ఇప్పుడు పవన్ కళ్యాణ్ నేను క్రిటిసైజ్ చేశాను అనుకోండి, అవును హరహర వీరమల్లు సినిమా బాగాలేదు, బరాబర్ చెప్తా. అదే నేను చెప్పాను చూడండి, ఇది ఎవరైనా షార్ట్ చేసి రీల్ చేసి యూట్యూబ్ వదిలేను అనుకోండి, నన్ను పట్టుకొని క్వశ్చన్ చేస్తారు. ఐ నెవర్ ఎంకరేజ్ దట్. మూవీ బాగుంది అంటే బాగుంది, బాగాలేదంటే బాగాలేదు. ఆయన సినిమా బాగా చేసిండే అరే పవన్ కళ్యాణే చెప్పుకున్నాడు, ఐ బికేమ్ యాక్సిడెంటల్ యాక్టర్ అని. You understand my point? So you have the every right to question him with respect to his movie choices. If movie is not good, నేను డబ్బులు కొనుక్కొని చూస్తున్నాను కాబట్టి I have the every right to question. బాగాలేదు అన్నప్పుడు బాగాలేదు అని చెప్తాను, బాగుంది అంటే బాగుంది అని చెప్తాను. నా 300 పెట్టిపోయినా నేను వేస్ట్ అయినాయి అని అనుకుంటా, బరాబర్ అంట. సో ఇక్కడ ప్రాబ్లం ఏమవుతుంది అంటే, మనలకు పవన్ కళ్యాణ్ పొలిటికల్ ఒపీనియన్స్, పొలిటికల్ ఇంక్లినేషన్, ఐఎమ్ నాట్ క్వశ్చనింగ్ హిమ్. And I am not, for that matter, I am not a person of Andhra Pradesh to get affected by his political things. I am commenting because of his movies. అలానే సౌత్ ఇండియాలో హీరోస్ వర్షిప్ కానీ పొలిటీషియన్ వర్షిప్ కానీ ఎక్కువ ఉంది. అని ఒక పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ టైంలో జయలలిత ఏం చేసినా క్వశ్చన్ చేసేవాళ్ళు లేరు. అండ్ జయలలిత డౌన్ఫాల్ ఎలా స్టార్ట్ అయింది అనుకుంటున్నారు? ఆమె కొడుకు కాకుండా ఆమె దత్తత కొడుకుకి పెళ్లి చేసింది, వచ్చిన వాళ్లకు రిటర్న్ గిఫ్ట్స్ గోల్డ్ రూపంలో ఇచ్చింది. అండ్ ఆమె ఆ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ టైంలో ఇట్ వాజ్ రిపోర్టెడ్ ఇన్ ద న్యూస్ పేపర్, అండ్ ఫర్ దట్ మ్యాటర్ షీ వాజ్ కన్విక్టెడ్ ఆల్సో, రైట్? సో she used the state machinery but no one was there to question her because her image has grown to that extent. సో మనల్ని ఏమైపోయిండ్రు అంటే సౌత్ ఇండియా స్టేట్స్ లో, ఇన్ సౌత్ ఇండియన్ స్టేట్స్ వి సీ దిస్ పర్సనాలిటీ కల్ట్స్ ఈజ్ ఇంక్రీజింగ్. పర్సన్ సెంట్రిక్ వర్షిప్. పర్సన్ సి ఫేవరెట్ హీరో అయితే వర్షిప్ చేయి, పాయింట్. నువ్వు నీ వర్షిప్ నీ ఇష్టం కదా. ఐ డోంట్ లైక్ హిమ్, ఐ డోంట్ లైక్ హిస్ మూవీస్, ఐ హ్యావ్ ఎవ్రీ రైట్. బట్ ఇక్కడ పాయింట్ ఏంటి అంటే మనలకు you cannot criticize him, you don't have the right to criticize. That is nothing but you are becoming irrational. South India lo ilanti irrational practices, irrational individual worships అనేది ఎక్కువైంది. దాని వల్లనే చూడండి ఇండివిజువల్స్ ఆర్ వెరీ ఫేమస్. ఎప్పుడైనా చూడండి ఈ పర్సనాలిటీ కల్ట్స్ వల్ల ఏమవుతుంది అంటే ఐడియాలజీ పాలిటిక్స్ అనేది డైల్యూట్ అవుతుంది. అండ్ ఎవ్రీ టైం గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి, ఐడియాలజీ ఇస్ వెరీ మచ్ ఇంపార్టెంట్. ఓకే, సో ఈ పర్సనాలిటీ కల్ట్ వల్ల వి ఇన్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేటివ్ పబ్లిక్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ దే డిస్కస్ మోర్ అబౌట్ పర్సనాలిటీ కల్ట్, హౌ దిస్ పర్సనాలిటీ కల్ట్ ఈస్ ఇంక్రీజింగ్, వై పర్సనాలిటీ కల్ట్ ఈస్ ఇంక్రీజింగ్. నవడేస్ యూ సీ మనల్ని చూసి సౌత్ ఇండియన్స్ చూసుకో నార్త్ ఇండియాలో కూడా పెరిగింది. అదే చూడండి మనల్లో ఏంటి అంటే పవన్ కళ్యాణ్ సినిమాకు పాలాభిషేకం చేశారు అనుకోండి, ఇప్పుడు ప్రతి సినిమాలో పాలాభిషేకం చేస్తున్నారు. పవన్ కళ్యాణ్ సినిమాకు అదే ఇక డిఫరెంట్ చేస్తారు కదా, పనికి మళ్ళీ అన్ని పనులు చేస్తూ ఉంటారు ఫ్యాన్స్. ఓకే, సినిమా నచ్చినప్పుడు పోయి సినిమా చూడాలి, ఇవన్నీ ఎందుకు చేయాలి? అండ్ వి ఫర్ దట్ మ్యాటర్ వీ షుడ్ నాట్ బి కన్సర్న్. బట్ పాయింట్ ఏంటి అంటే ఇదేం చేస్తున్నారు అంటే ఒకరు చేశారని ఇంకోటి చేస్తున్నారు, ఇంకోటి చేశారని ఇంకోటి చేస్తున్నారు. ఓకే, అండ్ అట్ ద ఎండ్ ఆఫ్ ద డే చెప్తున్నాను చూడండి, హీరోస్ ఆర్ ఇల్ కన్సర్న్డ్ అబౌట్ దేర్ ఫాలోవర్స్ థింగ్, దే ఆర్ ఓన్లీ కన్సర్న్డ్ అబౌట్ మేకింగ్ మనీ. ఓకే, దేర్ ఈస్ నో హీరో, దేర్ ఈస్ నో సెలబ్రిటీ హూ జెన్యూన్లీ వర్క్స్ ఫర్ పీపుల్. ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి డబ్బులే కావాలి, ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి వాళ్ళ మూవీ ఎక్కువ కలెక్షన్ చేయాలి, అంతే. ఈ మూవీ ఇండస్ట్రీస్ ఈస్ మనీ మైండెడ్ ఇండస్ట్రీ. పేరుకు ఒక్కటే మూవీలో ఫిలాసఫీ ఉంటది, మనీ ఇంపార్టెంట్ కాదు, వాల్యూస్ ఇంపార్టెంట్. ఇండివిజువల్ హీరోలకు వచ్చేసరికి ఎవరు కూడా లేరు. చెప్తున్నాను చూడండి, ఫిలాసఫీ వంద సినిమాలలో ఫిలాసఫీ చెప్తారు. సినిమాలలో ఫిలాసఫీ ఎట్లా చెప్తారంటే ఉమెన్ ని నెగిటివ్ షేడ్ లో చూపియొద్దు అని చెప్తారు. అట్ ద ఎండ్ ఆఫ్ ద డే వాళ్ళే ఆబ్జెక్టిఫై చేయడానికి ఫస్ట్ ఉంటారు రెడీగా. ఎనీవేస్, బట్ ఇన్ సౌత్ ఇండియా పర్సనాలిటీ కల్ట్ ఈస్ మోర్. దట్ ఈస్ ద రీజన్ మీరు అన్నారు చూడండి ఎందుకు ఇలా ఉంది అంటే, ఎస్, ఇన్ సౌత్ ఇండియా we have this personality cult, we have that emotionally you are being connected to individuals. I'm not, see, if at all you are connected emotionally with an individual, there is no wrong, you are not asking, but the point is you have to be rational. If at all ప్రాబ్లం ఏమొస్తుంది తెలుసా, పర్సనాలిటీ కల్ట్ వల్ల తప్పు చేసినా కానీ కరెక్ట్ అంటారు చూడండి, అండ్ పీపుల్ జస్టిఫై దట్. ఇప్పుడు చూడండి, లైక్ ఏ హీరోనైనా సినిమా బాగాలేదన్నప్పుడు, సినిమా బాగాలేదన్నప్పుడు తప్పు చేసింది అల్లు అర్జున్ చేసింది 100% తప్పు. అర్థమైందా? అల్లు అర్జున్ చేసింది 100% తప్పు. అందుకని జైలు వేసిండు, ఓ రోజు ఉన్నాడు, అంతేనా కదా? దాన్ని వీళ్ళు ఏమంటారు అంటే, లేదు గవర్నమెంట్ ఈస్ టేకింగ్ రివెంజ్. ఇదంతా ఏముంది, యూ వెన్ ఎవర్ యూ హ్యావ్ టేకెన్, పాయింట్ ఏంటి అంటే విత్ సెలబ్రిటీస్ యూ హ్యావ్ సర్టన్ ప్రివిలేజెస్. ప్రివిలేజ్ ఎంజాయ్ చేయడానికి రెడీగా ఉంటారు. అంటే ఏంటి అంటే, సెలబ్రిటీస్ పోయినారు అనుకోండి లైన్ లో నిల్చోకుండా దర్శనం చేయించాలి, సెలబ్రిటీస్ పోయినారు అనుకోండి సెక్యూరిటీ ప్రొవైడ్ చేయాలి. దే ఎంజాయ్ ప్రివిలేజెస్, బట్ వెన్ ఇట్ కమ్స్ టు రెస్పాన్సిబిలిటీ దే డోంట్ టేక్ రెస్పాన్సిబిలిటీ. వెన్ the true celebrity is the one who enjoys privileges and who also takes responsibility. అల్లు అర్జున్ ఇక్కడికి వచ్చినప్పుడు నేను సినిమా ఎవరు చూడొద్దని లేదు, సినిమా చూడమనే అన్నారు. పాయింట్ ఏంటి అంటే, సినిమా చూసేటప్పుడు యూ హ్యావ్ టు ఇన్ఫార్మ్ టు ద పోలీస్, ఓకే, దట్ ఐఎమ్ కమింగ్. డెఫినెట్లీ పాయింట్ ఏంటి అంటే, మీరు ఏ సెలబ్రిటీ అయినా చూడనికి వస్తారు. రేపొద్దున ఓ హీరోయిన్ షాపింగ్ మాల్ ఓపెన్ చేస్తున్నా అంటే వస్తారు. Okay, that is the behavior of the people, and you have to have some sense of responsibility. When you don't have some sense of responsibility, నేనేమంటాను అంటే, హీరోస్ డోంట్ హ్యావ్ ద, సెలబ్రిటీస్ డోంట్ హ్యావ్ ద రైట్ టు ఎంజాయ్ ప్రివిలేజెస్. ఎన్ని ప్రివిలేజెస్ ఇస్తున్నారు వాళ్ళకు? ఓకే, వాళ్ళు ఎక్కడికైనా షాపింగ్కి వెళ్తే సెక్యూరిటీ ప్రొవైడ్ చేయాలి, ఎక్కడికైనా ఏదన్నా స్పెషల్ ఏదైనా టెంపుల్స్ ఉంటే వాళ్ళకు అదేంది పెద్ద ఐఏఎస్ ఆఫీసర్ లాగా వాళ్ళకు విఐపి ట్రీట్మెంట్ ఉంటుంది. ఈవెన్ ప్రివిలేజెస్ ఉన్నాయి. అలాంటప్పుడు యూ హ్యావ్ టు టేక్ రెస్పాన్సిబిలిటీ ఆల్సో. అండ్ అవర్ సెలబ్రిటీస్ ఆర్ వెరీ weak in taking responsibility. Okay, our celebrities are very much interested in making money, and వీళ్ళ కోసం జనాలు ఫైటింగ్ చేసుకుంటారు చూడండి. దట్ ఈస్ అ pathetic థింగ్, అండ్ దట్ ఈస్ అన్ఫార్చునేట్ థింగ్ అబౌట్ హ్యూమన్స్. ఎనీవేస్, సో మీరు అన్న క్వశ్చన్ ఏంటి అంటే, సార్ టెంపుల్స్ ఆయన ఏదైతే హీస్ ఏథిస్ట్, బట్ నౌ యూ సీ ద టెంపుల్స్ కన్స్ట్రక్షన్ ఇస్ వి సీ ఇన్ సౌత్ ఇండియా, దిస్ పర్సనాలిటీ కల్ట్ ఇస్ దేర్, వేర్ పీపుల్, దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ యు నో. అందుకే చెప్తున్నాను చూడండి, ఇండియన్స్ ఏంటి అంటే జస్ట్ వచ్చి చప్పట్లు కొట్టండి అంటే మార్చులు చేసే ఇండియన్స్. ఓకే, కోవిడ్ అప్పుడు ప్రైమ్ మినిస్టర్ ఏమన్నారు అంటే, టు హానర్ ద కాంట్రిబ్యూషన్ మేడ్ బై మెడికల్ స్టాఫ్ వీ హ్యావ్ టు హానర్ దెమ్ బై క్లాపింగ్ ఆర్ యు నో, సో ఆర్ బై లైటింగ్ ఏ ల్యాంప్. ఓకే, మనల్ని క్రాకర్స్ కాల్చారు. సో point ఏంటి అంటే, saying this example is not, I'm not generalizing, I'm saying that there will be some few people. We cannot say entire society is that. In Tamil Nadu, in every state we have that. 75 years of India-China relations. Okay, historical ties, significance of India-China relations. India and China have civilizational contacts. Both India and China were one times so much civilizationally powerful regions. So India and China's cultural exchanges date back to 2nd century BC. And Silk Route, which is one of the vital trade route, connects both India and China. A vital trade route through which Buddhism spread from India to East Asia. And Fahans, Huansang, you might know about. Okay, so I no need to. Okay, Bodhidharma's influence, and for that matter, you know, many Bodhidharmas. ఇప్పుడు చూడండి, you might be seeing that India Japan relations అప్పుడు కూడా చెప్పాను లాస్ట్ క్లాస్ లో. as I said, no, many Bodhidharmas who are of Indian Bodhidharmas were being invited to different countries. టెంపుల్ ఇనాగ్రేషన్ ఉంటుంది చూడండి, సో అలాంటి టెంపుల్ ఇనాగ్రేషన్స్ they used to inaugurate. So these Bodhidharmas are very famous. So we have Buddhist connection, we have civilizational connect. Significance of India-China, ivemo historical ties. Then significance of India-China relations, we are neighbors. And balancing power, India strengthens alliances to counterbalance China's influence. Economic relations, China is India's second largest trading partner, essential for growth. And what is the border disputes, Indian Ocean dynamics, China's naval presence challenges India's influence in Indian Ocean region. Okay, significance of stable India-China relations. Why India-China relations, why are very much important is for regional peace and stability. Okay, so if at all చెప్తున్నాను చూడండి, if India and China mutually, see, the major problem between India and China, let me tell you, is unresolved border conflicts. The major problem between this is unresolved border conflicts. What China have done is, this I'll discuss in international relations classes tomorrow. You see, China and India share 3 borders at 3 areas. One is western sector, middle sector, and eastern sector. Western sector is Ladakh, Aksai Chin. Okay, middle sector Sikkim, and okay, and eastern sector is Arunachal Pradesh. See, these near these borders, both India and China have not, I don't have consensus. If we both decided this is a border, I will patrol, my soldiers will patrol this area, other soldiers will patrol that areas. But although there is line of actual control, but the point here is, this borders between India and China has multiple interpretations. This has happened because China have drawn between India and China, they have done 2 or 3 lines overlapping. Okay, that we'll discuss. There is a McDonald line, there is a Johnson's line. Through one line, one official line which has been drawn by British India says that Aksai Chin is a part of India. One line will say that no, Aksai Chin is a part of China. Now, don't you think clearly you can understand that UK has deliberately done this? That is the reason why issues are been still prevailing. So the major problem between India and China is unresolved border disputes, and that is the reason why you see recently in middle sector what happened was, because of Atal Bihari Vajpayee, Nathula Pass in Sikkim has officially been recognized as a border between India and China. So from then onwards, with in middle sector there is no conflict. But here China is saying that no, Aksai Chin is a part of China. So India cannot accept that. China is also saying that no, Arunachal Pradesh is a part of China. So that is the reason why this unresolved disputes, unresolved border disputes is a major cause of concern between India and China. But successfully in middle sector, after India have signed an agreement regarding Nathula Pass, okay, so we have resolved the border issues in middle sector, but border issues with the western and eastern is still persistent. Now why it has been persisting, you understood, right? The point is it has been because of multiple border lines which were drawn by colonial rulers. Okay, and why India-China stable relations are needed is for regional stability and peace. Indo-Pacific prosperity. Definitely, if India and China is having stable relations, India and China can use Indian Ocean region for proper trade purpose, whether it might be trade, whether it might be for development, whether it might be extracting marine resources, whether it might be sustainable development of marine economy. Okay, trade and investment. So China, major source of pharmacy, APIs, active pharmaceutical ingredients, semiconductors and solar modules. India, attractive destination for Chinese investments in. See, the major, when it comes to trade and investment, what is the major problem with respect to China and India is, India is having trade deficit with China. Means nothing but China is importing more products to India. Means nothing but we are paying more money to China. So the investment from China is more. Not investment. The exports from China is more, but the exports from India to China is very less. That is the reason why India is having this trade deficit, and the trade deficit is also not small. The India is having a large trade deficit, so India have to balance this trade deficit. మనకు టారిఫ్ వేస్తే మళ్ళీ ట్రంపే దిక్కిగా. Okay, significance of stable critical resources. China is a hub of critical resources. Global governance and influence. As I said, no, we need China for global governance because we are all global South countries, whether it might be in G20, whether it might be in United Nations, whether it might be in World Trade Organizations, whether it might be in climate change deals. So China and India being on one platform will strengthen the voice of global South. You understand my point? Next, counterbalance to Western dominance, to counterbalance Western countries. Okay, that is also countering global challenges, cooperation on climate change. We discussed no energy security. So I have given what are the border conflicts India had. As I said, no, major conflicts between India and China is border conflicts. In 1962, Aksai Chin, we had the border conflicts between here and here, Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, so next in 1967, Nathula conflict here. Okay, Sikkim and Nathula conflict, and this was resolved later by Atal Bihari Vajpayee. If you చూడండి, Doklam 2017. Okay, here is the Doklam plateau. This is Nathula Pass. Just near to that, there is a Doklam plateau. Doklam is a plateau in Bhutan, but China is saying that Doklam belongs to China. So India said that Bhutan is a protector state, is under the protection of India. And you know, after గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి 2017లో after this Doklam issue, China realized the power of India. See, Bhutan is not the territory of India. Bhutan is a territory of Bhutan. Sorry, Doklam is not the territory of India. Doklam is a territory of Bhutan. But when China was claiming Doklam Plateau, India stood fast, supported Bhutan. And during that point of time, everyone around Doklam Plateau, there was 50,000 Indian soldiers amassed. And China also amassed so many soldiers. And during that point of time, everyone thought that India and China would fight a war. A war might broke out. You see, not only in Doklam, all the Indian Ocean region also, entire Indian Ocean region also, there was so much of mass mobilization of military. But India never went back. And this once realized, through this, once China realized that India is a counterweight to China in Asia. After that, you see, then they started this China-Pakistan economic corridor to make to increase the military presence of China over India. So that is the reason why Doklam is one of the landmark issue. After that only you see China has focused more on developing, what you say, strategic measures to question the rise of India. Next, so highlights from PM Modi's. Okay, so what the leaders affirmed: India and China are development partners. Differences must not become disputes. Okay, difference లానే ఉండని. ఓకే, February 14th వస్తుంది. ఓకే, వ్యాలంటైన్స్ డే రోజు నేను సింగిల్ ఉండలేను. ఓకే, మన ఇద్దరికి డిఫరెన్సెస్ ఉన్నాయి. 14th వరకు తర్వాత మాట్లాడుకుందాం. 14th వరకు అయితే అలానే ఉండని. అంటే ఇప్పుడు పాయింట్ ఏంటి అంటే ట్రంప్ తేడా బిహేవ్ చేస్తున్నాడు. చూద్దాం, అప్పుడు డిఫరెన్సెస్ అయితే డిస్ప్యూట్స్ కి వి షుడ్ నాట్ మేక్ దిస్ డిఫరెన్సెస్ ఇంటూ డిస్ప్యూట్స్. నెక్స్ట్, స్టేబుల్ టైస్ వైటల్ ఫర్ మల్టీపోలార్ వరల్డ్ ఆర్డర్ అండ్ మల్టీపోలార్ ఏషియాస్. Our both relations are very much important for multipolar world. Next, building trust at the frontiers. Appreciated disengagement of last year. And enti ante border lo first they saw the mobilization of troops and then they start disengagement. Reaffirmment commitment to fairly and mutually acceptable boundary resolutions. Welcomed special representative efforts. Means nothing but both the border countries have initiated special representatives action. Through this they are trying to bring peace. And like how we have brought the peace in middle sector, on the same lines we want to bring the peace in western sector and eastern sector. Okay, so what they have decided is direct flights between India and China. Next, visa facilitation, providing visas to the other countries. Resumption of Kailas Manasarosvar Yatra. So after 2020 Ladakh confrontation or Galwan clashes, Manasa Sarovar Yatra ఇక్కడ నుంచి లీపు లేక్ పాస్ ఉత్తరాఖండ్ లో ఉంటది. ఫ్రమ్ లీపు లేక్ till Manasa Sarovar. So Manasa Sarovar is an holy site. Manasa Sarovar is a holy site for Hindus. Manasa Sarovar is a holy site for Buddhist, Jains. Buddhist ఎందుకంటే ఫస్ట్ జైన్స్ ఏంటి అంటే ఫస్ట్ జైన్ తీర్థంకర్ రిషభనాథ ఉంటుంది చూడండి. రిషభనాథ్ అని రిషభనాథ్. సో రిషభనాథ ఆర్జిన్ అక్కడ నుంచి ట్రేస్ చేస్తారు. అలానే బుద్ధిస్ట్ ఆల్సో దే ఆల్సో క్లెయిమ్ అంటే ఏంటి అంటే ద ఆరిజిన్ ఆఫ్ బుద్ధిజం, ఎసెన్స్ ఆఫ్ బుద్ధిజం అంటే లైక్ ఎర్త్లీ ప్రెసెన్స్ ఆఫ్ బుద్ధ. Earthly presence of Buddha will be resembled with Manasa Sarovar. So inko religion kuda untadi. There are 4 religions has very significance with Manasa Sarovar. So after 2020 Manasa Sarovar Yatra has been stopped. Again they are trying to resume. Nenu cheppanu chudandi, recently the prime minister level When Lipu Lake was agreed between India and China, Nepal said that no, like we also have Lipu Lake also belongs to us. Okay, why you did not invite? So, but India has clearly said that it historically this area had control by Indians. Next, so they also decided that we both countries stabilizes the world trade because we have huge population. Our purchasing GDP at GDP at purchasing power parity is also more. Committed to expanding trade and investment with strategic direction. Okay, what are the challenges? As I said, no, India has large trade deficit, water security. Now, China controls rivers like Brahmaputra, poses risk to India's water resources. China's salami slicing strategy. Salami slicing strategy, as I said, no. What is salami slicing strategy? First, see what is salami slicing strategies. Now, this is the border between India and China. Now, this is Indian territory. As I said, no, undecided borders are there, or no official demarcation. Borders will be very long. First changes area. This is of India's. They will come and first they will start patrolling. Patrolling means they will move around. When Indian solar presence is not less, then gradually they will come and establish like tiffin center. Okay, from tiffin center they will establish a small unit. Oka truck on this coach better. They will bring a truck. Next they will bring 2 trucks. Then they will build gradually they will bring. And what they will be doing is small units will be developed. And we never know when the small unit will become an army base. That is what is salami slicing. You understand my point? Small units will be developed gradually, and we never know when the small units will become a base. This has been followed by China. This is India have to be very careful with China's salami slicing. Incremental tactics by China aim to gradually gain territories and alliances. 5 fingers of Tibet I explained. Mao Zedong 5-finger policy. Next, territorial disputes, depth trap diplomacy, cyber security threat, strategic encirclement. Now, way forward. Why India-China relations are very much important is for global governance. We discussed defense tech investment, strategic partnership, infrastructural development, people-to-people connections, strengthening regional diplomacy, enhanced. Okay, actually, India, Singapore. Okay, India Singapore will discuss in the next class. Vikram 32. So recently, a chip was indigenously developed by India. You know, in this mobile phone, chips are being used. In this LED TV, chips are being used everywhere. Now I said no, semiconductors is eternal. Now semiconductors or these chips are also used in space. Okay, satellites also use chips. How satellites communicate? Whenever Mars rover or lander landed, how you'll get connection is through this semiconductors only. We get transformation of information, communication through chips. So India used to dependent on other countries for chips. So India recently have developed this 32-bit chip. That is what is India's first fully make in India space grade 32-bit microprocessor. Space grade means in satellites, and this was developed by this Vikram Sarabhai Space Center of ISRO and Semiconductor Laboratory of MITI. This semiconductor laboratory is in Chandigarh. India's only recognized that semiconductor laboratory. Okay, now Semicon India summit jarugute, there they have disclosed that India have indigenously developed. So it is indigenous production in the semiconductor sector. Industry goal: capture a significant share of USD 1 trillion global semiconductor market by 2030. Upgrade. And earlier we have 16-bit. Now we have 32-bit. Indigenously made. Application. ఇదేంటి అంటే when a satellite is going, you know, space atmosphere low temperatures will be normal. When you go atmosphere, thermosphere, mesosphere, you know, right? So temperature variation untadi kada, geography you might be studying. And in space, you know, there will be extreme temperatures also. This chip can withstand harsh climates from minus 60 degrees Celsius till 150 or 160 degrees Celsius. It means nothing but this chip is capable to withstand very harsh climatic conditions. That is the okay. Processor features, navigation, performs navigation means okay. How semiconductors are also used, mobile phones lo navigation techniques unnaya leda, GPS ఎలా పనిచేస్తుంది through chip. So navigation, calculations, this has advanced calculation techniques. And military grade, it can be used for military purpose. Extreme testing, tested for extreme conditions including temperature and resistance. Floating point, idokkati confuse avutaru, what is this floating point? Okay, floating point programming is one of the uniqueness of this Vikram, okay, chip. This is 32-bit chip. Can it em cheptundi 64-bit floating point operations. What is floating point programming? You know, what is a language which you use in computer means what are the inputs, how we give inputs? Binary 0 or 1. But you know, computer also does multiple calculations, different numbers. How it will be doing is these numbers will be converted very close to binary and then it will be doing evaluation. Aithe ee chudandi, what is this floating point is, now you know generally computers does this binary means this whole numbers, integers will not be a problem to convert into binary. Meeku telusu kada different number how to convert into binary system. You might have heard how you are converting these whole numbers into binary system, 0 1 1 1 gurtundi kada. So whole numbers you can convert into binaries, that is very easy. But ee decimals untayi chudandi, converting these decimals into binary is very difficult. That is the reason why 3.14, 0.224, these numbers converting into binary is very difficult. So this 32-bit chip is capable of doing these translations, means from decimals to binary. It has that advanced feature. Simple story. Ante. So don't get confused with looking at this floating point. Concept is very simple. Decimals ni binary lo convert cheyadaniki it has advanced capabilities. Okay, ADA compatibility. This is a language which is used in defense and aeronautics. So this chip is compatible with ADA language, ADA programming language, compatible for aerospace and defense system. Bus interfaces, memory support, indigenous design, autonomy and reliability. So what are the initiatives in semiconductor? Indian Semiconductor Mission launched in 2011. An Indian Semiconductor Mission majorly focused on 3 areas: manufacturing, design and capability. Capability means research venture, research promote cheyadam. Okay, so anyways, we'll continue in the next class.